In the 7th video, we will program the timer, which will start running when the game starts, and when the time runs out, we will return to the main menu. The script can be downloaded from the link to my website in the description, or you can pause the video to copy it. Let's get started. We start creating a new script and give it the name timer. Let's define two integers for the initial values of minutes and seconds. These values will be visible in the inspector. Then define two more integers to keep track of the time. We add the namespace unityengine.ui to be able to use UI elements in our script. Then we define a text type object that will store the reference of the text element in the canvas. Save the changes, and in the editor, drag the timer script to the game object control. Let's write 1 minute 5 seconds in the timer script parameters, and then drag the text element from the canvas to the timer text space. I name this element timer. Let's define two public methods, one to start the timer and one to stop it, and define also a private method to update the timer's value. In this last method, the first thing we will do is to decrease 1 second. Then we check if the value of the variable is negative, that is to say, if its value was 0 and now is -1. When this happens, there are two possibilities. One is that the timer has reached 0 and therefore we must end the game. I'm going to mark this region with the comment end game. And if the timer hasn't reached 0, we decrease 1 minute and set the seconds variable to 59. We are going to define a method to grade the value in the timer. This method will receive two integers as parameters, one for the minutes and one for the seconds. At the end of the update timer method, we will call the grade timer method and pass the parameters m and s to it. To grade the timer, we are going to consider two possibilities: when the seconds variable has only one digit and when it has two. In the first case, we will concatenate a 0 to the left. And in the other case, we will write the amount of seconds directly. In the start timer method, we will assign the values entered in the inspector to the variables m and s. We make a call to the grade timer method by passing m and s as parameters, and we are going to invoke a method after a certain amount of time. To do this, we use the invoke method and pass as parameters the name of the method to call in quotation marks and the waiting time before making the call. We will invoke the update timer method after 1 second. This invocation will also be done at the end of the update timer method. With this, we can get the method to invoke itself every 1 second. I make an observation. In the second parameter of the invocation, by grading 1f, I'm indicating that the number is a float, or real number as we know it mathematically. Next, we define a timer object type in our game control script. In the start method, we will find the timer component, which is among the components of the game object control in the hierarchy, and assign it to the timer object we just defined. With this, we will be able to access its public methods and parameters through the dot operator. Within the start game method, we are going to make a call to the start timer method. As it is a method that belongs to another class, we must access it through the dot operator. We write timer.startTimer. Let's run this scene. The clock is ticking. When the time's up, we are gonna end the game and go back to the main menu. To do this, we need to call the endgame method that belongs to the game control script. Therefore, in the timer script, we need a reference to the game controls instance. In the start method, we find the game control component, and finally, in the region where the game ends, where we have left the comment, we call the endgame method using the dot operator. As the method is defined as private, we can't access it from the timer script. I'm going to modify it to be public. We make the call to the method and then write return. This way, the execution of the update timer method is interrupted. Within the endgame method in the game control script, we are going to call the stop timer method that is defined in the timer script. In the stop timer method, we will cancel any invocation that may have been pending. There are several ways to keep track of the time. I choose to do it this way because I find the invoke method interesting and easy to implement. The part of the method calls can be very confusing, especially when they are defined in other classes. But this series of video does not seek to deepen the topic of programming. We are looking superficially at the tools we have and how we can use them to shape an idea. Later on, we will study programming, understand what a class is, a method, an object, and also learn concepts of the object-oriented paradigm. In the next video, we are going to work on the stage, use our prefabs to shape the maze, and we will work on the ground, so that it won't be a flat surface anymore.